From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun. Hello and welcome tonight. Vice President Shettima highlights major government progress at the 31st Nigeria Economic Summit, cites forex unification, better revenue drive, and lower debt ratio as factors boosting Nigeria's economy. NNPCL GCO blames cooking gas scarcity on temporary loading disruptions caused by the recent Bangasan strike. IPAC urges National Assembly to abolish state electoral commissions and transfer INEC chair appointment power away from the president. And indirect talks on the US peace plan to end the devastating war in Gaza officially begin in Egypt. On sports news tonight, CAF President Patrice Motsepe announces its 48th Ordinary General Assembly will hold in Nigeria next year.
And on business, Debt Management Office rolls out fresh bond offer as returns stay above 14% despite rate cuts.
And from the nation's capital, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike demands strict tax compliance, emphasizes that tax compliance is vital to boosting development and for infrastructure development across the territory.
Significant progress has been made in the economy through the unification of the nation's foreign exchange, revenue collection, reduced debt to GDP ratio as well. And now that's coming from the Vice President Kashim Shettima at the 31st Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja. It says trade, agriculture, infrastructure and logistics remains at the core of President Bola Tinubu's administration to ensure inclusion for all Nigerians. Our correspondent Sarah Achimugu now reports.
It's the 31st summit of the Nigeria Economic Summits Group, and it's bringing together government officials, development partners, captains of industries, and members of the private sector. Themed the reform imperative, building a prosperous and inclusive Nigeria by 2030. The summit comes at a critical juncture in Nigeria's development journey, with bold reforms already shaping the nation's trajectory.
Private investment, foreign direct investments want to come to places where they know that the institutional framework will support any issues that they have. We can't continue to be in an environment where for any simple court case, it takes 10 years to solve.
One of the objectives of the annual meeting is to forge a consensus for the nation's reform, which targets balancing stability and inclusive growth. It will also provide an opportunity for meaningful dialogue and collaboration to accelerate Nigeria's transformation and secure a prosperous and inclusive future for all.
To build economic resilience, this administration is prioritizing job creation that drive productivity through improvement and support of different sectors, digital skills, creative economy skills, development of the blue and maritime sector, human capital development, as well as agriculture, livestock and fisheries.
The meeting then goes into a plenary session.
It's a difficult enough.
Speakers bear their minds on how the government can get it right through exports.
When the Japanese government raised the flag on Nigerian exports of sesame, Nigeria exports are up to 40% of consumption of sesame in Japan. We approached them proactively and came up with a plan working with ITC to support us technically.
The Vice President Kashim Shettima declared the meeting open. In his speech, he lists government intervention leveraging on its renewed hope agenda, which he hopes is yielding results, but appeals for patience for its rewards.
I admit that this growth has not yet fully translated into enough jobs for our people, but we are closing that gap. We are giving priority to agriculture and solid minerals, two sectors with great potential to create jobs and strengthen our economy.
For the next 3 days, there will be intense deliberations across all sectors of the economy, with recommendations made to address the concerns raised. Hopefully, this will translate to the nation's socio-economic development. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
The Group Chief Executive of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mr. Bayo Ojulari, has attributed the recent scarcity in cooking gas to a temporary loading and disruption during the industrial action by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN. According to him, the strike had halted operations for several days and produced an artificial increase in prices as he accused opportunistic retailers of exploiting the situation. Mr. Ojulari expressed confidence that the nation's oil production would hit 1.8 million barrels per day crude benchmark before the end of the year.
I think it was quite unfortunate that the Dangote and PENGASSN issue, led to the strike. And as you know, whenever there's strike and critical staff manning critical facilities are not available, it's almost impossible. In this particular case, we actually lost significant production of almost over 200,000 barrels per day of production that was deferred. We also have gas production that was deferred, and power generation also was impacted. About 1.2 megawatts of power was affected by that strike. But I think I'm very pleased that the federal government, through the leadership of the Federal Minister for Labor and also full support from the National Security Advisor, we're able to pull together everyone into a dialogue and bring everybody to the table. And now there's been a communique that has been agreed on the way forward. We're all very hopeful that everyone will abide by those communiques. We recorded about 1.68 million barrels per day of oil production last month, which was very good. That was the first in about 5 years in terms of milestones. We also recorded the highest gas production at about above 7 BCF per day again, which is also the highest in recent times. But what we're also expecting is that with some of the turnaround maintenances that we've done in the month of August and September, all of those are meant to come back this month. And we are hoping that before the end of the year, we should at least be clocking at least 1.8 million barrels per day, all things being equal.
A coalition of northern pressure groups under the auspices of the National Muslims Youth Association is urging the National Assembly to consider a bill before it that seeks to take away the powers of the president and state governors to appoint a chairman of both the Independent National Electoral Commission and state electoral commissions. The group blames the lack of transparency and accountability in Nigeria's electoral system on the governors and president, whose political interests, they say, often interferes with those of the electoral umpire.
We agree with Senator Obiora that honest elections are impossible in Nigeria, with the president and the governors continuing to wield the power of appointing the electoral bodies. Since they or their political parties are usually contestants in the same elections, there is no doubt it is the absence of honest election in Nigeria that has led directly to the mass poverty and gross underdevelopment we have in the nation today. Beavers and IREV would not solve the problem of election rigging in Nigeria without the impartiality and integrity of the electoral body, as those two systems are vulnerable to manipulation. It has therefore become necessary to amend the Constitution towards establishing the new INEC, composed by independently and neutrally appointed commissioners and officers, in order to ensure competence, impartiality, integrity, and hence free and fair elections. We call on the National Assembly to consider and pass Senator Ikechukwu Obiora's draft bill for the amendment of the Constitution, for the establishment of the new INEC, and thereafter to work with the state assemblies and the presidency to bring the proposed amendment to fruition.
Nigeria's former Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, has called on the federal government to declare a full-scale onslaught against bandits and insurgents unleashing violence across Nigeria. According to him, there are no legal instruments indicating that Nigeria is at war. Speaking on our political program, Politics Today, Mr. Irobo identified several options to curb the insurgency menace across the country. He noted that politicians' actions and inactions contribute to insecurity. The former CD has therefore advised Nigerian leaders to avoid politicizing security issues.
Boko Haram is only a critical juncture in our development, in our historical journey. The problems of insecurity in Nigeria, which Boko Haram took advantage of, preceded even, our independence. And I try to trace the fact that there has been a lot of disunity in the country, where politicians have never agreed, even before independence and immediate post-independence. Fast forward to what you find even in currently, things have not changed. So Boko Haram, coming, in at the beginning of the Fourth Republic, was only to take advantage of that disordered political structure that we have, the setting such that everyone was now looking for how to, gain leverage, and they thought that they could use the political slogan at the time to want to gain their own notoriety, and that for me is the greatest challenge that we have, which we must confront as a people. To say that we must begin to look for a way, first and foremost, to have a psychological reorientation to how we mitigate conflicts, and then to also begin to see how we can conduct a national reconciliation, because we just need it. And thereafter leading to security sector reforms, political reorientation and political structure, and then good governance enhancement, among several other things which I've documented, which if we're able to synchronize appropriately, then of course will be leading to a more secure environment, such that when security agencies, the military in particular, and the police, of course, as part of the security sector reforms, policing is a key element. So the aggregate of all this, of course, with good governance, is what will give us a sense of safety and defense.
So politics will play a major role.
Politics is a critical component.
Politics destroys our security, and politics could.
Politics has destroyed, and politics is what certainly will fix it.
The Office of the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Mr. Jeffrey Naji, has dismissed reports of alleged certificate forgery against the minister. A senior special advisor on administration to the minister, Mr. Robert Ungu, dismissed the allegation at a media briefing in Abuja, describing it as politically motivated. Mr. Ungu is accusing the management of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, of playing politics with the academic records of the minister. According to him, Mr. Naji earned a Bachelor of Science degree in microbiology and biochemistry back in 1985.
Let it be on record that the Honorable Minister Chief Uche Geoffrey Naji graduated from UNN in 1985. The university officially confirmed this in writing in December 2023. It's reflected in his 1985 convocation brochure, which remains part of UNN's permanent archives. Any other claim or document to the contrary is false, malicious, and politically motivated. We call on the University of Nigeria to uphold its proud motto, to restore the dignity of man. It must reclaim its integrity by distancing itself from political manipulation and reaffirming the authenticity of its official records. This is not just about one man's academic record. It is about protecting the truth, preserving institutional honor, and ensuring that no university in Nigeria ever becomes a pawn in partisan politics, dirty partisan politics. The truth is simple, the record is clear, and the law is now on the side of justice.
In part two, after the break, federal government launches nationwide integrated vaccination drive against measles, rubella, polio, and HPV. Please stay with us. back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Vice President Shettima highlights major government progress at the 31st Nigeria Economic Summit, cites forex unification, better revenue drive, and lower debt ratio as factors boosting Nigeria's economy. NNPCL GCO blames cooking gas scarcity on temporary loading disruptions caused by the recent Pengassan strike. IPAC urges National Assembly to abolish state electoral commissions and transfer INEC chair appointment powers away from the president. And indirect talks on the U.S. peace plan to end the devastating war in Gaza officially begins in Egypt. In Rivers, a fire outbreak this evening burnt a section of the podium block at the State Secretariat complex in Port Harcourt, destroying property. A part of the affected area is the section that houses the River State Pension Board. The head of service, Dr. Inyigi Brown, in a voice note sent to Channels Television, attributed the incident to an electrical fault. She revealed that firefighters from the State Fire Service, Federal Fire Service and the military jointly battled and eventually extinguished the fire. The incident occurred just days after Governor Siminalayi Fubara dissolved the River State Pension Board without giving any reason for the action. It also comes on the heels of the governor's recent warning to permanent secretaries who, according to him, acted below the standards of the civil service during the period of the emergency rule in the state. Governor Fubara had stated that such records could be used against the erring officers at the appropriate time. Although no official link has been established between the dissolution of the board and the fire incident, the timing has raised public curiosity whether the fire was a mere coincidence or an attempt to destroy vital documents. The police and the state government are expected to carry out a thorough investigation to ascertain the exact cause of the fire. Talking health now, the federal government has flagged off an integrated campaign for measles, rubella, polio, human papilloma virus, HPV, routine immunization vaccines, and neglected tropical diseases intervention. During the launch of the campaign in Abuja, wife of the president, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, and the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, noted that the exercise is aimed at protecting the future of every child. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
This gathering at the banquet hall of the State House in Abuja is for the flag-off of the integrated vaccination campaign by the federal government. The wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is the special guest at the event, accompanied by the wives of some top government officials, including the wife of the vice president, Mrs. Nana Shettima. Nigeria grapples with low immunization rate, with only about 50% of children fully vaccinated, and about 2 million children have never received a single dose of any vaccine.
We target 106 million Nigerians aged 0 to 14 years, and all 36 states and the FCT will participate in the measles, rubella, polio, HPV, and RI campaigns.
The coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, believes the campaign will enable Nigeria to attain 95% national and state coverage for measles and other preventable diseases.
From 10 million visits per quarter in 2023 to currently 47 million in the second quarter of 2025, almost a fourfold increase in terms of utilization of primary health care in Nigeria. And together with states, local governments, and our development partners, we're on track to increase the number of fully functional primary health care centers by additional 4,800 by the end of 2025.
The wife of the president says the move will help protect the lives and future of Nigerian children.
I will continue to advocate that mothers, first ladies of states, local government chairmen's wives, women groups that you see a lot of them here today, traditional leaders, and associations across our country to ensure no child is left unprotected.
With the speeches done, the First Lady carries out a symbolic administration of oral polio vaccines on some children present. The launch of this campaign is the first step. The second and most important step is ensuring that every one of the children targeted for this exercise receives the required shot. From the banquet hall of the State House, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohamed Pate, says the renewed hope agenda of the present administration is driving a major transformation of Nigeria's health infrastructure. During an inspection of the ongoing construction of a world-class radio diagnostic center at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi, the minister expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of work. He also commissioned landmark projects in Gombe State as well. Our correspondent, Victoria Longjohn, reports.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohamed Pate, arrives the Tafawa Balewa Teaching Hospital, Bauchi, on an inspection tour of the ongoing construction at the Bauchi Radio Diagnostic Center. The facility, being developed by MedServe in partnership with the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, which is 70% completed, is one of 10 of such projects being executed nationwide under the partnership. Professor Pate commended the pace of work at the facility, emphasizing its far-reaching benefits to the Northeast region.
This building was started just a few months ago, and we have now seen that it's almost getting to 70% being completed, and the equipment have been procured. We've seen the work, it's very good quality work. I'm sure when it's completed, not only the people of Bauchi State, but the people of northeastern Nigeria and indeed Nigeria will benefit from this world-class radio diagnostic center.
The minister also inspected the construction of a new clinical trial center within the same teaching hospital. The center is expected to boost Nigeria's capacity to participate in advanced clinical research. Professor Pate and his entourage also visited the Federal Teaching Hospital, Gombe, for the commissioning of landmark projects at the hospital. The projects commissioned include the National Health Insurance and Retainership Complex, a 128-slice computerized tomography scan machine, the Anesthesia and Critical Care Complex, the Isolation and Molecular Laboratory Complex, the full electric medical record system, amongst others. Professor Pate described the projects as strategic investments that will strengthen diagnostics, emergency response, training, and healthcare delivery in the state.
There are many facilities for diagnosis. The CT scan suite, for instance, there are some to cater for women for emergency obstetric complications. There are administrative buildings. There are also training facilities like the one that we are now seeing here, the College of Nursing, which trains both nurses but also post-basic nurses, specialized nurses, as well as technology in terms of information management. These are all important pieces that will make this hospital be well equipped.
These inspections and commissioning of projects by Professor Mohamed Pate complement other landmark health projects established across the country and underscores the commitment of President Bola Tinubu to a people-centered transformation of the health sector. Victoria Longjohn, Channels Television News.
All right, let's head to the nation's capital, and Terry Kumi is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Ayo. Now, it's a season of celebration for one of Nigeria's oldest and most respected institutions, Baptist Academy, Lagos, as the school marks an incredible 170 years of enduring excellence since its founding in 1855. From its hallowed grounds have come generations of leaders, scholars, and change makers, and now the class of 1966 to 1970 is coming together once again for a special reunion, luncheon, and endowment fund launch in honor of the academy that shaped their lives. Earlier today, members of the executive committee of the 66 to 70 set paid a courtesy visit to the chairman, Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momo, to share their plans for the grand reunion and other legacy projects lined up for this milestone year. Their visit comes also as preparations heightened for the Bausa 70 to 74 anniversary lecture, part of the series of events marking Baptakad's 170th year, a celebration of faith, discipline, and scholarship but continues to define generations of Akokites, or rather, Baptacadians. It's more than an anniversary. It's a journey of heritage, impact, and gratitude to God. 170 years on, Baptist Academy remains a symbol of enduring faith, moral strength, and intellectual heritage, standing tall amongst the great institutions that built modern Nigeria. The chairman of BAPTACAD's 70 Planning Committee's engineer Yele Oludimu, spoke to us about their plans for the reunion.
The 55th reunion celebration is a celebration of all the members of Baptist Academy that started the school in 1966 and passed out in 1970. All we want to do is just to thank God for sparing our lives to see this moment we are in, particularly as touching those of us who are still alive, because we need to thank God for all that He has done for us. We had some who came in with us, but maybe because their parents relocated to another state, they could not continue with us. Or some of them might even decided that, they didn't choose to come to Baptist Academy, or they were forced to come. So they left. October 25 is the day we have set aside to come together to enjoy ourselves. We are none of us is below 70 now. We are above 70. Those of us who are coming to celebrate. So we feel that there is need for us to come with our families and friends to sit down together, to enjoy ourselves, to eat together, to discuss and to make fun, to share our ideas again. And those who are still in the business line, they can come and say, it's a long time. What are you doing now? What can we do to connect again? And that is where the thing, comes from. Connect, sustain, and also to uplift.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, Debt Management Office rolls out fresh bond offer as returns stay above 14% despite rate cuts. That's on Business News. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news at 10. Now, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has flagged off the construction of a road extension project in the Asokoro district, where he emphasized the importance of tax compliance as a major source of funding for infrastructure development in the FCT. He noted that the capital city is fast transforming into one of Africa's most beautiful cities and called on residents to be patient, supportive, and committed to paying their taxes. Now, Kresta Laurel Limited, a leading player in Nigeria's electromechanical engineering space, known for its work on elevators, cranes, and power systems, has wrapped up its 35th anniversary celebrations with a gala and awards ceremony in Lagos. The event drew key industry stakeholders and political figures who commended the company's resilience and long-standing commitment to engineering excellence. The management of the company reaffirmed its forward-looking vision, pledging to drive innovation in renewable energy and expand its impact on Nigeria's engineering future.
Kresta Laurel Limited rounds off its 35th anniversary celebrations with a grand gala and awards night attended by partners and notable personalities across the board. The event celebrates 35 years of engineering excellence and the company's enduring impact in the public and private sectors.
We are proud of what we have achieved in 3.5 decades, but we are even more excited about what lies ahead. We see a future when Nigerian companies like ours are not just local champions, but global players. A future where Kresta Laurel will not only be installing elevators, but we also be helping to elevate Nigeria itself in innovation, in skills, in industrial capacity, and in global competitiveness. We intend to expand our footprint across other sectors, pioneer renewable and environmentally friendly solutions, and continue to build the capacity of young Nigerian engineers.
The chairman reflects on Kresta Laurel's journey, highlighting its resilience and commitment to quality, innovation, and integrity.
In all of those years, we have probably done about 2,500 projects, installing about 5,000 equipment, And there is not a single one where we have failed. Not one. Not one. I'm saying this because most of the time, what actually caused the failure of corporate organizations is that Nigerians have a penchant for spending the money they not earn. So when they see big money, they then start to buy the latest car, begin to look for big houses. Some people marry good new wives, and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, when it is time for them to give account, they cannot give account.
Tributes and goodwill messages from partners underscore the company's reputation and contributions to the industry.
I want to applaud the management and staff of Kresta Laurel. Yes. Because it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes for institutional development. It speaks volumes in transparency and efficiency and governance.
Through your CSR initiatives, you have contributed to the growth of Lagos, created jobs, supported local businesses, and demonstrated the power of commitment and innovation. When private enterprises collaborate with government and the community, everyone reaps the benefits.
The evening also features an awards segment honoring outstanding staff for their dedication and service.
Congratulations, Kresta Laurel.
The celebration concludes with the cutting of the anniversary cake and a lively dance session, a fitting end to a celebration of legacy, loyalty, and leadership.
Let's go back to the story on the FCT, where the minister has flagged off the construction of a road extension project in the Asokoro district. He emphasized the importance of tax compliance as a major source of funding for infrastructure development in the FCT. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
The FCT minister, Mr. Wike, has flagged off the construction of Isa Mohammed Road in the Asokoro district, saying that it is part of government's efforts to improve connectivity and boost development in the territory. The event attracted top government officials, federal lawmakers, directors, and community representatives. The project is designed to ease traffic flow, improve access, and promote economic activities in the area.
The project will provide access, road and engineering infrastructure to this area and several other streets in this layout, thereby enhancing movement, interconnectivity of residents, and improving the security in this area, while enhancing public infrastructure.
Upon completion, the road will significantly ease transportation and enhance connectivity with improved access to vital locations. This infrastructure will foster social and commercial integration, making life more convenient for our residents and contributing positively to the overall development of the territory.
In his remarks, Mr. Wike reiterated that development takes time and resources, urging residents to pay their taxes regularly to enable government to deliver more projects.
Those of you who know Asokoro, look at the houses here. Without road network, without drainage, without street lights, how would life here be? So all these good roads, good drainage system, the street lights wouldn't be possible if you don't pay your taxes. So try and pay your taxes so we can provide more of these roads, connect the drainages, keep our environment clean.
The minister later performed the official commissioning of the project, promising continued investments in infrastructure to improve living standards across the FCT. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Well, it's World Noodles Day, or rather World Indomie Day. And the nation's beloved noodle brand Indomie Nigeria brought fans together in Lagos for a day of fun, challenges, mouth-watering prizes, and tasty Indomie noodles. From start to finish, the event was all about celebrating the love between Indomie and its loyal fans.
World best noodle, courtesy Indomie noodles.
Indomie Nigeria flips the script on World Noodles Day, celebrating fans with World Indomie Day under the theme Celebrating Lovers of Indomie. This year, the beloved household brand takes things up a notch, treating fans to an unforgettable celebration filled with delicious noodles, exciting games, and prizes to be won.
Let's go. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen.
I love the fact that aside, having an event here today celebrating World Indomie Day, every single person on social media can join in the challenge. We're receiving entries from now to the 12th of October. We have a challenge going on whereby you get to use the jingle on Indomie Nigeria's page. Use the jingle to create any content of your choice. Just show us that you love your Indomie. Show us how much you love your Indomie. You could be dancing, you could be cooking your noodles, you could be eating your Indomie noodles. Whatever it is that you want to do it. Use the jingle, post it on social media, use the hashtag World Indomie Day and tag at Indomie Nigeria. And we're giving away 100,000 naira to 50 lucky people. So, that's really exciting.
Speaking on the event's nationwide rollout, brand managers of Indomie Nigeria, Temitope Sule and Ebere Anajama, highlight the series of activations and community-driven engagements across the country. They also emphasize Indomie's long-standing bond with Nigerians and brand's commitment to giving back to the loyal fans who have kept it at the heart of homes for decades.
When we talk about noodle in Nigeria, the first thing that comes to your mind is Indomie. Indomie is the most loved noodle brand in Nigeria. So for us, this is more than just more than a celebration to us as a business and also as a brand. It's also a way for us to also celebrate our consumers, pan-Nigeria, to show them that we love them and we also appreciate them. We appreciate what they've done for the brand and how they've grown with us over the years.
We have a 3-day activity. If you look behind me, it's all about fun, entertainment. We have upside down house. We have lots of games, lots of prizes to be won. CP cup, notebook, name it. So it's everything about consumers. And for these 3 days, we want to ensure that they are excellently, overly happy.
Ultimately, World Indomie Day is a celebration of connection, proving that for Indomie, customer appreciation is mutual, the fans love the brand, and the brand continues to love them right back.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. Business news is next. Here's Willie Bong.
Thank you, Terry. Now, the Debt Management Office has opened the October 2025 federal government savings bond offer with interest rates of 14.06% and 15.06% for 2- and 3-year tenors. The offer runs from October the 6th to the 10th with settlement on October the 15th. However, rates declined from 15.54% and 16.54% in September, following the central bank's cut in policy rates to 27%. Now, each bond unit is priced at 1,000 naira with a minimum investment of 5,000 naira. DMO says the bonds remain a safe, steady option for Nigerians seeking regular income. With that, we're checking with the domestic equities market, which opened the week positive, recording its highest single-day gain since August the 21st of this year. John Mekwa tells us more.
Everyone, welcome to the stock market report. Well, the market opens on a very green note this week. We see 786 billion naira being gained by investors at the close of trade today, and that has brought the market cap really close to 92 trillion naira. Remember that last week, that's when we gained this 91 trillion naira. So we may be heading to 92 trillion naira really soon. The all-share index also has gone from 143,000 level to 144 after the market gained 0.86%. And major drivers of this, we see them with the gainers, or on the gainers list is Mansard Insurance again, and Seplat, a major one. We see them gaining the max that any stock could gain at a particular time. And of course, we have the shelter also contributing to that. And well, we cannot do without the losers because there was still profit taking at the close of trade today. And so we see, well, not very strong, but at least, of course, there was still profit taking at the close of the day. But the good news is that we're beginning the week with the bull.
Thank you, Ini. Now, French stocks fell today following the Prime Minister's resignation after the cabinet review. Let's see the numbers and those of other major equities. And that's business. Is back to Ayotunde for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Will. Sami Puzi is up next with international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US President Donald Trump has urged everyone involved in efforts to end the Gaza war to move fast as mediators are set to meet in Egypt for indirect peace talks between Hamas and Israel.
But there'll always be some changes. But the Hamas plan, I tell you, it's amazing. You're going to have peace, if you think about it, peace in the Middle East for the first time in, they say, really 3,000 years. So I'm very honored to be a big part of that.
The talks come after Hamas agreed to some parts of a 20-point US peace plan, including freeing hostages and handing over Gaza governance to Palestinian technocrats. But it is seeking negotiations on the other issues. The group's response did not mention the key demands of its disarmament and playing no future role in Gaza's governance.
Bien, mesdames et messieurs, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je suis heureux, par l'intermédiaire de la presse, de m'adresser.
France's Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu has resigned less than a day after his cabinet was unveiled. The Élysée Palace made the announcement after Lecornu met President Emmanuel Macron for an hour on Monday morning. The shock move comes only 26 days after Lecornu was appointed following the collapse of the previous government. Parties across the board in the National Assembly had fairly criticised the composition of Lecornu's cabinet, which was largely unchanged from the previous one and threatened to vote it down. Hikers caught in a shock blizzard near Mount Everest have spoken of experiencing hypothermia as they battle relentless snowfall while rescuers continue to evaluate scores of people. At least one hiker has died and more than 200 are still stranded on Everest's eastern slopes in Tibet, an area popular with climbers and hikers. Snowfall began on Friday evening and intensified over the weekend. Rescuers have guided 350 people to safety in the small township of Qudang. Israel says it has deported 171 activists from the Gaza-bound global Sumud flotilla to Greece and Slovakia, among them Greta Thunberg. The pro-Palestinian group had already announced overnight that the Swedish activist would be flown out to Greece today. She was among more than 450 activists detained by Israel when its military intercepted the flotilla last week.
First, we were kidnapped in international waters. Then they took us to land, and once on land, they behaved like a terrorist group. People were kicked. We were left without fresh water for over 2 days. Overall, they took every opportunity to humiliate any of us. We were treated like terrorists because we thought we were terrorists. So I was unlucky enough to get out just while Ben-Gvir was coming. And so the police used very, very tight handcuff on us.
New Zealand's government has paid Samoa $6 million New Zealand dollars after one of its naval ships crashed into a reef in Samoan waters before catching fire and sinking last year. The ship started leaking oil into the ocean after it sank, with reports of sea turtles dying and slicks appearing on nearby Samoan beaches. New Zealand's foreign minister said the payment had been made at Samoa's request. It was the first New Zealand ship to be lost at sea since World War II. Floods have hit parts of southeast Bulgaria, killing at least 3 people, including 2 rescue workers. Hundreds of people in the region have been forced to evacuate their homes and infrastructure has been damaged. A state of emergency has been declared along parts of the country's Black Sea coast, where vehicles have been washed away and homes left without power. Video shows the moment dozens of cars were washed away in the town of Elenite. And balloons carrying thousands of packs of cigarettes have disrupted flights in Lithuania, as Vilnius airport was forced to close for hours when dozens of them floated into the country's airspace. The National Crisis Management Center said that 25 meteorological balloons were detected entering Lithuania from neighboring Belarus, 2 of which ended up directly over the airport. The airport said the shutdown led to 30 flight cancellations affecting 6,000 passengers. It warns there may still be delays on Monday.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. The president of CAF, Patrice Motsepe, has announced that Nigeria will host its 48th Ordinary General Assembly next year. The OGA, which holds once every year, is the organization's highest decision-making forum, where Africa's 54 member associations review competitions, adopts the budget and audited accounts, and considers statutory matters. Nigeria Premier League champions Remo Stars beat Wiki Tourists 2-0 in matchday 7 played this evening at the MK Abiola Sports Arena. The defending champions were on the receiving side of the 2-0 defeat to Abia Warriors on Thursday last week, but goals from Adama Goita and Alex Oyowa was all the Sky Blue Stars needed to come back to winning ways in Abeokuta. Earlier, Rangers International beat Katsina United. Now, the game was moved to this morning owing to heavy rain on Sunday, with the result goalless at half-time. UEFA says it had reluctantly approved the staging of a La Liga and a Serie A match in the United States and Australia despite fan protests. The European football governing body made its ruling after Spain's La Liga agreed to move a game scheduled for late December between champions Barcelona and Villarreal to Miami, Florida. Italy's Serie A also decided to stage the encounter between AC Milan and Como on February the 8th in Perth, Australia, to avoid a clash with the Winter Olympics opening ceremony at Milan's San Siro Stadium. Vice President Kashim Shettima has highlighted major government progress at the 31st Nigeria Economic Summit as he cited forex unification, better revenue drive and lower debt ratio as factors boosting Nigeria's economy. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. You have a good night.